You think going to the doctor is a nightmare? You sit there, terrified of a tiny, cute little needle? Oh, you sweet, spoiled summer child. You have absolutely no idea how good you have it. Welcome to a time when visiting the doctor wasn't about getting better. It was basically a horror movie directed by a clown. Back then, trust the science was a death sentence. The smartest guys in the room had very creative ideas. They'd look at a sick patient and think, you know what this guy needs? A sandwich made of human skull. We're talking about drilling holes in heads with rocks, cough syrups made of hard drugs for your baby, and blowing smoke into places where the sun definitely doesn't shine. So put down that apple, it won't help you here, and grab your safety goggles. Welcome to the Hospital of Horrors. Let's start at the very beginning, the Stone Age. Meet Steve. Steve has a migraine, or maybe he just annoyed the tribal chief. In 2024, you take 2 pills and a nap. In 5000 BC, you get trepanation. Trepanation is a fancy medical word for taking a sharp rock and grinding a hole directly into your skull. There was no anesthesia. Actually, wait, there was. It was called the bonk. No sterilization, no soap, just grog, a dirty rock, and 0 medical degree. Why? Why on earth would they do this? Well, they believed headaches were caused by evil spirits trapped inside your brain. And logically, those demons needed an exit door. So they drilled a hole right through the bone to let the demons fly out. Ding! You are cured! The most terrifying part isn't the surgery. It's that people actually survived it. Archaeologists found skulls where the bone had healed back. They walked around for years with a drafty skylight in their forehead. Talk about being open-minded. So next time you have a headache, just be glad your doctor prescribes a pill and not a Black & Decker power drill. Fast forward to London, 1750. The Enlightenment. A time of science, fancy wigs, and terrible ideas. Imagine poor Steve slips and drowns in the River Thames. He is pulled out cold and unconscious. In 2024, we do CPR. Back then, the lifeguard would scream, "Quick, get the butt bellows!" I am not making this up. Doctors believed the best way to restart a heart was to pump tobacco smoke into your rear exit. They would insert the tube and start pumping furiously. The theory? The hot smoke would warm the victim from the inside and stimulate life. Because honestly, if a lungful of smoke in your intestines doesn't wake you up, nothing will. It became a trend. Hernias? Smoke enema. Typhoid fever? Smoke enema. Just bored? Smoke enema. It finally stopped when science proved that nicotine is actually poisonous to the heart. So doctors were basically taking drowning victims, who were already having a bad day, and poisoning them to death. And yes, historians believe this is literally where the phrase, blowing smoke up your ass comes from. You're welcome. Welcome to Europe in the 1600s. Shakespeare, Galileo, fine dining, and cannibalism. Yes, the rich people were technically cannibals. This was the era of corpse medicine. The belief was simple. The human body contains a vital spirit. So if you eat a dead guy, you steal his life force. Like a gross power-up. Even the King of England drank a daily tonic called the King's Drops. The main ingredient? Powdered human skull mixed with alcohol. Cheers! It got so bad that they imported thousands of Egyptian mummies, ground them into powder, and put them in their tea. Basically, they were eating history for lunch. But here's the problem. The demand was so high that they literally ran out of mummies. Egypt was empty. So what did the suppliers do? They got creative. Scammers started stealing fresh bodies of executed criminals from local jails. They dried them in ovens, ground them up, and sold them as ancient pharaohs. Nobody could tell the difference between Grandpa and Ramses II. But for the freshest cure, you went to the execution square. When a criminal was beheaded, people rushed to catch the warm blood. They believed it cured epilepsy. I call it a beheaded thief latte. Rich Europeans would sit around judging the savages of the world, all while snacking on their own ancestors. So next time you think a green kale smoothie is disgusting, just remember, at least it's not made of Grandpa. If you walk into a pharmacy today, you need an ID just to buy allergy medicine. But in the late 19th century, the pharmacy was basically a candy store for hard drugs. And the target audience wasn't junkies, it was children. Let's talk about Bayer. Yes, the aspirin company. In the 1890s, they marketed a new miracle drug. They called it Heroin. And they sold it as, wait for it, cough syrup for kids. Did your baby have a sore throat? Heroin. Teething pain? Heroin. Sure, the kids stopped coughing. They also stopped caring about earthly existence. Why? Because they were technically high on a Class A narcotic. But wait, there's more! Got a toothache? Try cocaine toothache drops. It made toddlers feel great until they tried to build a rocket ship at 3 a.m. Freud loved the stuff. And Coca-Cola? It was literally in the original recipe. Then there was Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup, a mix of morphine and alcohol for babies. It was nicknamed the baby killer because, well, babies tended to never wake up. It was a wild time. You took heroin for a cold and cocaine for a toothache. People wondered why they felt so energetic, yet so sleepy at the same time. Huh? Welcome to the 20th century. Science has discovered radiation. Things are glowing, and excitement is in the air. And because humans are idiots, we immediately decided, hey, if it glows, it must be delicious. Enter Radithor, sold as perpetual sunshine. It was essentially water infused with radium. The biggest fan was Eben Byers, a wealthy American industrialist and golf champion. He hurt his arm and his doctor said, try some radiation water. Byers loved it. He drank 1,400 bottles over 3 years. He felt great. He felt toned up until the sunshine started to work. First, his teeth fell out, not one by one, but in chunks. Then his jawbone dissolved. His skull developed holes. His body was literally disintegrating while he was still alive. The poor guy was falling apart. When lawyers came to interview him, they reported that his whole upper jaw had been removed. He died a horrific death. He was so radioactive that he had to be buried in a lead-lined coffin. Decades later, when scientists dug him up, he was still glowing hot. The company's defense? Whoops, we didn't know. It was the ultimate energy drink crash. From drilling holes in perfectly good skulls to feeding babies heroin and drinking radioactive water, it is an absolute miracle the human race survived long enough to invent Netflix. It makes you wonder, in 100 years, what are we doing today that people will look back on and laugh at? Maybe chemotherapy? Maybe LASIK eye surgery? Or maybe they'll just think it's hilarious that we used to eat kale on purpose. Now, I have a question for you. Which one of these cures made you cringe the most? Would you rather have a smoke enema or drink a human skull smoothie? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to stay healthy, hit that like button and subscribe. It is scientifically proven to be safer than anything we just talked about. Stay safe, wash your hands, and please don't drink the glowing water.